Hey everybody, I am what you call a perpetual trier. If it feels like it's something that I want to do, or if it feels like something that I may be possibly good at, I'll give it a shot. If it seems fun, I'll give it a shot. And I found that even if it's something that I end up not being good at, if it's fun and I enjoy doing it, I'll still give it a shot. I'll try, and more often than not, I'll fail and I'll have some successes. But what'll happen, of course, in that process is that I'll learn. I'll learn what things work and I'll learn why they work. I'll learn what things don't work and I'll learn why they don't work as well. I'll also learn about me and why I would try those things in the first place. Um, I recently moved into a house, a single family house versus apartments that I had been living in, and I did some work around the house, minor electrical stuff, outlets and um, light fixtures and blinds and stuff like that, minor plumbing. But a good majority of those things I had never tried before, so it was new to me. But I felt like because I had a background in low voltage, I thought that I would have a better shot. I mean, I thought that I would have a good shot rather at at being successful. So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and did a bunch of research and took the outlets off the wall and looked at them for a while, took pictures and kind of just studied it. Studied to find out, you know, how it's connected and what goes from what to where and what comes from what to where, just so I can understand it. And I changed the first outlet and it worked and I was ecstatic. And I kept going from there. I changed all the ceiling fixtures. I changed both of the outside lights, the front porch and the back porch, and I set up some temporary lights in the basement. But it was all part of the trying, and I didn't get a real desire or belief that I could do things were it not for the the try that was instilled in me. I remember a specific example that kind of helped me along that way. Was I was a kid, maybe 10, 12, maybe a little bit older, and we were visiting my grandmother in Chicago. I don't know what the occasion was, could have been a holiday or something. And my grandmother had a old slot machine, a really small one, like a tabletop slot machine. Um, and it had broken for some reason, so it wouldn't dump out the little quarters or the slugs that she would use to play it. So she gave it to my dad because my dad is really mechanical, really handy. So she gave it to him to fix, and he was like, "Oh well, here, Jonathan, you fix it." And just the fact that he had, to me, what I took it as the fact that he had confidence that I could repair the machine. I was gonna fix that thing even if it took me 40 years. So because he had placed that confidence in me, so I was able to fix. I just super glued it. But I found out what the issue was, and I found out what a quick fix to get the machine going again was, and we got it going for a little while till she got a newer machine. But um, I think that I think that what I've learned in regard to present day, in regard to the house, is that being a trier comes with, uh, for me, a feeling of responsibility, because having that responsibility, it didn't feel like a chore to me being a trier, because they say the necessity is the mother of invention. I believe that being a trier and having I guess it's a couple things that are involved there. Having a fearlessness to a fault, that if I don't do good, that won't be the end of it. I don't have to, I won't feel like a failure if I don't do well on this thing. If I try something and it doesn't work out, I won't kick myself and say, oh, you should have never tried at all. Because I gained that confidence that, you know, with from, in regard to the slot machine, my dad kind of gave me a little confidence. But in regard to other issues, not other issues, but other things like swimming or even drumming, I believed just a little bit, not a huge amount, but I believed that there was nothing in me that would prevent me from being able to successfully complete the task that I'd set out for. And in regard to the house, it was just, stuff around the house, the electrical, blinds and minor plumbing, stuff like that. But it it kind of helped. It helped me to realize that about myself, that if I took the steps that I knew would work best for me in terms of learning how to do something new, and if I took that along with the belief that there's nothing biologically or psychologically within me that says I cannot do these things, if I put those two together, and if I have confidence from either outside sources or even confidence from having completed something previously that I didn't think I can do, I usually can tackle most things. So I say that because I think that being a trier is a great thing to do. And if I could pass down anything to my kids, I would hope that I would encourage them or pass down to them via example and by me literally telling them to be a trier, to try things. Don't be afraid to fail, because I think that in the trying, you learn so many more things. There are tons of stories of people who tried things and they weren't good at those things, but in the trying, they found out what things they were good at and they pursued those things and they had success there. But were it not for the trying, they would still be in the position of, what if? And I don't ever want to be in a position of what if. I never wanted anyone around me to be in a position of what if. So I think that I know that I'm glad that I'm a trier. So it doesn't mean that I'm great at a bunch of things or actually anything, but I am a trier. If I believe it can be done and I believe that I can be a part of getting it done, I'll give it a shot. So I don't have whatever some people have that makes them beat themselves up. I don't have that, and I haven't had it for a good number of years. It wasn't always like that, but I'm thankful that I'm in a position where I don't have that, where I can reset and keep going and keep pushing forward. And I say that talking to myself because all of the great people, the extremely successful people that I've studied, they have that same thing. The Kevin Harts and the Mike Tysons and the Eddie Murphys and I know these are all entertainers, but even the Barack Obamas and the Michelle Obamas, these were people who had very literal obstacles and socioeconomic obstacles that would have definitely placed a barrier in their lives toward a barrier in their lives that would prevent them from reaching those goals. But because they believed that they can do those things, and they weren't so impacted by the setbacks, they weren't so impacted that they quit. They were hurt, they were offended, they were taken aback, but they weren't knocked off their path. They didn't get there in the way that they wanted to. They didn't get there in the time frame that they wanted to, but they were still able to get there because they believed and they tried. So that's my thought for today. Just thankful for being a trier.